Hi, I'm Stephen Sherry from Gallery Access Solutions, and I was a design engineer in this project. It was a very complicated project due to the different elements in the design stage. Normally we design a temporary roof with a scaffold that's quite straightforward. Your scaffold will be founded on the ground, you build the scaffold, you have the roof. But with this one, there's a lot of underground corridors that we couldn't land on the ground with our scaffold standards. Therefore, we had to introduce a lot of beams to support the scaffold. And so I had to do it in certain different stages. Started off with, at the base, checking how we could get the base to work and then building off the beams. And then eventually getting the roof on top, but then I had to reverse engineer it back down the way to make sure all the beams could support the scaffold supporting the roof. So it was extremely complicated, but it was very enjoyable getting my teeth into the design of it. So I've been a scaffold designer for over 30 years now, and I've worked in many various subjects, different types of scaffolding all over the world. But this one ranks right up near the top of designs I've been involved with, just due to the scale of the scaffold and the amount of design element in it. And I think JR, I've worked with them for about 10 years now, these guys, and they're a fantastic team, and they're a pleasure to work with. They're one of the companies that you can trust. Their guys are going to do the job to a safe standard and a very good standard. And I had 100% confidence that they would carry out the design to its full completion.
Hello, my name is Jamie. I was the project architect for the Walton Building project that you can see behind me, and we are from Coltart Earley Architecture. From an architect's point of view, the scaffold has been a critical part of this project. The project borders the Glasgow Cathedral, which is a Scheduled A monument, and it's also in part of the Glasgow Central Conservation Area. The Walton Building itself is a B-listed building, which forms part of the wider historic Glasgow Royal Infirmary campus. So what impressed me the most about JR Scaffold was the proactive relationship that we had with them throughout the duration of the project. The project itself is located within a live hospital environment. The site has a number of constraints. We have the scheduled monument, the Cathedral North Graveyard, immediately adjacent to site. We have the live hospital traffic, which was open throughout to patients and hospital visitors. It's constrained by poor ground conditions, service tunnels, and also other manners of access constraints around the building. JR worked with us in a proactive manner to address these challenges head on, and a collaborative approach was maintained throughout.
Initially, we were one of 5 scaffold companies invited to bid for this project direct to the client through Public Contract Scotland. Although the client provided us with everything they had available, just due to the age of the building, there was multiple drawings and pieces of information unavailable to us. This meant that we had to price the job based on a lot of worst case scenarios. There were multiple hurdles we had to take into consideration when pricing this job, such as this delivery area you see behind me. We had to maintain access down this at all times, as it is the main delivery ramp to service the full hospital. Another issue we came across was the areas available for us to actually drop scaffold materials. Due to the hospital being fully live and operational, we were very limited to where we could drop. So we had to take into consideration how far and how long it would take our men to carry materials right round the building, and how this would affect the client programme. One of the main issues we came across was the tunnel system that runs underneath the whole of the Walton Building. This means the foundations around most of the building was non-load bearing. We had to work closely with our design team to come up with a design that kept all scaffold weight off of these areas, but also to create a scaffold that could take the weight of a temporary roof. One of the biggest unknowns to us as a company coming into this project was the fact that we would be the main contractor. This is quite unusual for a scaffold company. Some of the things we had to deal with were construction phase plans, temporary works plans, traffic management plans. We had to provide full site compound, site signage around the full building, both externally and internally, provide welfare to all trades. We had to induct various contractors onto site, approve various trades RAMs, we had to work closely with the client to carry out multiple tests, like shear testing on the building and ground testing all around the foundations. I feel that we took all of this in our stride as a business for it being our first time. We delivered this job on time and, most importantly, safely.
My name's Lloyd McKenzie. I'm Regional Business Development Manager for the National Access and Scaffolding Federation. This project as a whole has been delivered a massive success. From an industry standards perspective, it was delivered on time, 0 accidents and incidents, and really due care for this special building. In its entirety is a fine example of what the D.A.S.E members produce on a daily basis. It is a fine example of a very complex scaffold, and a lot of thought and consideration has been put into this.
Hi, Owen Stoney, JR Scaffold. My role in this project was to look after the temporary roof. What made things different from this job to other jobs that we've done was the access to the site. So 3 sides we could not access, and that left us a loading bay to one side of the site. The other issues was it was a live hospital. We had patients and ambulances coming and going, which obviously restricted any access for us. So with those restrictions, we had to look at how we were going to get the temporary roof onto the scaffold. Now, the only access that we could have had has been hindered by walkover bridges, so therefore we could not get a crane in. The NHS hospital, they didn't want it built by hand, which meant obviously the guys were going to go on the beams and various other different things, so they didn't want that. So what we had to look at was a rolling roof. So basically what that meant was we built a double-gabled scaffolding at both sides, and we built the roof from that double-gabled scaffold, and we rolled it from there out onto the roof, out onto the scaffold. The time of the year, I mean, we were building the roof through the winter months, which hindered us slightly, but obviously we got breaks within the weather, which has allowed us to continue and finish it on time. So how impressive have the JR Scaffold team been in erecting the temporary roof? Absolutely brilliant. The boys have been fantastic. They've done a great job. They finished the job on time and within the budget. Initially, John Jack, our contracts director, had a team of guys in mind to come and do this job, which was great, brilliant. One of the guys had some experience, but a lot of the guys had no experience. And because of the size of the job and because of the complexity of the job, we thought it wise that we have a familiarisation awareness sort of training day. What we had done in our new yard, we had actually built the gable scaffold in the yard and replicated the scaffold that they were going to build on. Now what that done was it let them lay the tracks down, it let them work with the material before they came live on site, and it gave them an understanding and awareness of how the materials were put together and how it was going to work on site. Now that was done in late October, so what we had to do for the team was get them onto jobs, live jobs, where they could build the temporary roofs. Now we'd done that, we had a job out in Houston, it was a chapel, we had a 5-bay temporary roof. We got the team that was coming on here out onto the job and let them mess around with it, play with it and fix it. That gave them a better understanding of the materials. We then had a job at Moss End, and it was a rolling cover for concrete. Same team built that, absolutely brilliant. Again, learning all the time before they came to site. And then of course, when they arrived on site, they had a far better understanding of what it was they were doing.
Hi, John Jack here, JR Scaffold, position in the company, contracts director. I had to put a team together, identify good timekeepers and guys who've got capability to doing this scaffolding at this capacity and size. My day started here at 5:30 in the morning doing a delivery with a hire. We had to do that when there were no public and no cars. Each morning I sat down with the scaffolders and we done a daily briefing on the task, what we had to do. We broke the scaffolding down into elevations at a time. All elevations came with their own difficulties, what we had to overcome. The most difficult part of the job that we came across was what we had 2 laydown areas to service the full site. That came with a lot of problems and a lot of manpower for carrying material. We ended up getting an electric palletiser to move some of the material halfway up the building. We created a laydown area just next to the main door, corners are off with barriers and incomplete scaffolding sign warning the public of the danger and what's above them. Now you can see what we have achieved as a team. People will recognise JR Scaffolding.
Hi there. Sorry, what? Let me look.
The challenges and the due care into this project. I've already asked that. I've already said that in the last question.
Doesn't matter.
Our task was simply to make the building Right, start again.
Start again.